Hello, everyone. It's Michael Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Manipulators of the stock market, crypto, silver, and gold will soon destroy many, but not the awakened. All right. So we've seen this before in the past. We've seen it in 2000. I remember in 2000 where people lost everything. All right, their life savings. Uh, Stock market, pretty much went down to lost 80%. And there were so many people that were at retirement age that had to work another like 10 plus years because that's how long it took for everything to come back up. And they had to like get other jobs and all kind of crazy stuff. So they were at retirement. So they it didn't work out so well for them. Now, myself, as a Navy SEAL with a family, a little family, and I'm invested in the stock market. Everyone's talking about, the stock market back then. Cisco was pretty much the equivalent of Nvidia today, and it lasted. It's still around, but it got hammered in the downturn, like Nvidia will as well coming. Right. So it is something that you need to be. If you have the knowledge, you can protect your retirement, or you can protect your investments, or you can protect your wealth. You can protect, if you're just starting out, you can invest in silver, and you could very potentially 10x from this point. So silver's around $50 right now. So 10x, $500 an ounce, right? If you have, I don't know, $1 million, invested in silver, so if or more, or whatever your level's at, if you have a few coins, whatever you have, imagine that 10xing, right? Uh, if you have $1 million, it's $10 million. That's insane, right? Uh, but I've been investing in silver, and I can tell you, on an intuitive level, I knew that it was coming, but I didn't quite understand it. So of course I've had Dr. Kirk Elliott on today. He was so busy helping people in his team that he had to reschedule for tomorrow. So we'll have him on tomorrow to go in more detail about silver. But I have some really good information for you tonight. All right. And same thing with the stock market manipulation that is like over the top. Last night, the stock market, pre-trading, future trading, it was down, I think the NASDAQ and both the Dow were down over 400 points. So they opened up today at the opening. NASDAQ was down a little bit. Dow was up a little bit. Massive manipulation. So when they have manipulation going on during the night, like we've seen with silver and other precious metals, gold and platinum and so forth, they can knock them down. But I think the stock market being down last night was for real, and they came in and manipulated it back up, right? So the market manipulation will continue. Obviously, I predicted the stock market would be down. It was down last night. The numbers that I said it would be, down 400, and it would test the level, and then it would bounce. So it was down last night. I guess they did it during the night, and they hammered it up, at the opening, and it pulled back a little bit, because that's what they love to do. They like to trap people, right? And that's what the stock market is doing. Everything that this stock market has going on in the economy is ridiculously similar to 1929, right? So 1929, it was devastating for everyone. The World War II is what pulled the economy back out. A war, it was so bad that a war had to like restart the economy, because the economy basically they just used all those people, turned them into slaves, the whole country pretty much, and they used it in the war effort, and that created, basically cranking out, a lot of stuff, and so people were able to survive, right? People had to do without a lot of stuff during the war effort, and they had to do a lot. People were like destitute, homeless, all kind of crazy stuff after the stock market crashed. So we're moving in the same direction, but you don't have to be manipulated by these clowns. All right. You can understand what they're doing, and then you can position yourself for not only survival, but actually prospering when everything's being destroyed. Uh, Unfortunately, most people will be destroyed, right? But you that are paying attention, that are seeking the knowledge and are finding the truths, are going to prosper, right? Or at least, if you can't afford silver, which, geez, I'm sorry, but if you can't afford silver, then you'll position yourself, hopefully, so that you won't get hammered. All right. I don't know what that looks like, but that's just pretty much what we're up against right now. All right, so I'm going to share the screen and bring up some of this information for you, because for me, as an intuitive, I know these things are coming, but unless I have really good information, I can't really explain it. I can tell you, I've told people these things are coming and so forth, but it's much better if I can show you what's going on. All right, so here we have the stock market today. And why do you need to know this? Right? It's your future. You will be destroyed if you don't understand this, guys. Right? So the massive manipulation, if you don't understand the massive manipulation that these A-clowns do over and over and over again and destroy so many lives, then you're going to suffer, and your family's going to suffer, and everyone around you is going to suffer, right? Or you're going to prosper, and you're going to unfortunately watch everybody else not do so well, but you could be in a position to help them. That would be nice too, right? So, because not everybody's paying attention, and that's just the way life is, right? We've seen that over, for COVID. We've seen that with lots of stuff. I did a show with Nino Rodriguez. I just put it up on this channel, and we discussed Kirk. Now, you guys that have watched my video, first one got taken down on YouTube, but I have it on Rumble. So I know a lot of you guys watched that probably before it got taken down on YouTube, and then you've gone over. There's been a massive response for that video over on Rumble, and I did subsequent ones after that, which have had a lot of views as well. So some people, as you are going to see, have their opinions, have their viewpoints, and so forth. It's okay. Nino doesn't agree with me, but I have a lot of really good points, and you can, determine, where you're at, from that information, and position yourself, I guess, to either prosper or not. All right. So that's the way this market information that I'm sharing with you is. All right. So here is silver. Now you see today was a significant down day. I said there would be 2 and 1 and 2 and then $3 days. Well, the $3 day today was like down, right? But it's still above 50. It's still above the level of the last two stock peaks in silver, and then it got smashed down. So they have come in and they have tried to smash this silver price down, because it's going to destroy them. And we want to destroy them. I want to annihilate them, right? So this is one of those things that is happening to these manipulators. They need this price of silver to be low. And we've talked about this for years. And we, the people, have been really cranking the silver up, right? And it's really at the point now where it's going to destroy them. And they desperately need to have it below 50, and they can't do it. Right? At some point, we may, I wouldn't say that we lost a battle today, but ultimately we're going to win this war against these manipulators. We're going to annihilate and destroy them, right? This is absolute. So in the meantime, we're going to have the games, right? We're going to have the games, but if you're knowledgeable about the game playing, then you can win, right? If I go into battle and I have a knowledge of the enemy beyond what they know about me, I'm going to win, right? It's a given. It's not something we can speculate on. It's a given. It's going to happen. Like silver is going to the moon and beyond. It's going to Venus, right? Planet of love, right? So it's going to happen, and we're going to love the wealth that we have created through our our investment in silver. So and gold and platinum or whatever. So you see the silver price, you see the gold price got knocked down, and the platinum price. Now, how can this happen, right? Now, all of these metals have had a big run, so it's not unusual for them to get a little break, but kind of is, right? When you start to see how they come in with massive paper money, paper silver, paper gold, and paper platinum on this COMEX market, and it has no real value, kind of like our fiat currency. It's not tied to anything of value like gold and silver, right? Now, when you see them come in with massive amounts of paper, which there's upwards of 380 contracts which are not related to real silver or gold. So they come in and it's like fiat money. They just dump it in there and they knock down these prices, right? Now, eventually, what we're going to see is it's going to get to the point where they're going to have to cover their short positions. They're going to lose a lot of money. We'll probably see a lot of bank failures. So get your money out of the banks because that's coming. And we're going to see this thing explode upwards, and they're never going to be able to touch it again. And that's going to destroy a lot of these manipulators. We want that. And we have worked hard for this, and it's coming, right? So same thing, manipulation. Let me go. This is a daily. Let me come back to an hourly so I can show you where the manipulation comes in. So this is an hourly. We go back in time a little bit. See this this is in the middle of the night. So that's 12 o'clock at night right there. It's like 12 or 1 o'clock at night. That's when there's not a lot of trading because people are sleepy, right? They're sleeping. But these manipulators come in and they hammer it, right? Just like they hammer this market up today because it's supposed to go down. This market was supposed to have crashed back in 2022. They have been manipulating it up ever since, and they're not going to let it down until they get their wealth that they want, and then they're going to pull the rug, and they're going to destroy so many people, just like they did in 2000, right? Just like they did in 2008. They're going to rug pull, guys, and if you're not ready for it, you're going to get destroyed. All right, so they tried to do a rug pull. They knocked it below $50 because it was up there like 53 something, and they rug pulled it, and you see that happened for a couple of hours where they were able to come in and manipulate that down all the way down to 48 from 53. That's massive. And then people started to wake up and said, "What? That's bullshit." Now, I'm not going to show you today. I'll probably show you tomorrow during Dr. Kirk's show. All over the world, hundreds of people are in line to get silver and gold. It's not available. So this manipulation that they're doing is going to backfire on them. It's going to annihilate and destroy them. I love that. Annihilate and destroy. God, I'm a Navy SEAL, and boy, or I was a Navy SEAL. So anyway, I still dream about it. Anyway, so we're seeing it basically pop back up. They knocked it down today, all day long, and the good people came in and popped it back up above 50 because we want to annihilate them, right? So we've seen this all the way back in GameStop. And you might remember that one, it's like that they sell games. I remember my kids we used to go, there's like, what games do you want, this month? And so they'd pick out some games and they play games. But GameStop, the manipulators try to come in and destroy GameStop. So this one guy was like, I think it's going to do really well. So he invested his life savings in it, and he talked about it on the internet, and it became an internet sensation. And we, the people, came in and bought the heck out of GameStop, and the manipulators were going to like crush it and make tons of money. But guess who made the money? We, the people. So we, the people, came in, and there were people that made millions and millions of dollars. All right. And I remember the guy that was like, talking about it. They made a movie out of it. I can't remember the name of the movie, but they made a movie out of it. And it used to be on Netflix, and I guess they didn't want it on Netflix, so they put it on Hulu. So it's on Hulu. I'm going to watch it probably tonight. But they came after him. They sent lawyers after him, tried to destroy him. Of course, that's what they do for all this stuff. So he turned everything around. Now we can do that, guys. We can do that with silver. We can crush these a-holes and make a lot of money, because they have manipulated this thing down for so long, for decades and decades and decades and decades, 50, 60 years, I think. And it's ready to like go. And they haven't been able to knock it down. You see, I'm showing you where they're trying to knock it down, and it keeps popping back up. We're going to push this to the moon and destroy them. All right. It's one of the ways we win against them. All right. So you see, Bitcoin also, let me show you XRP, how this puppy was manipulated. I watched this when it got hammered. So same thing. You see all the downs. XRP is easily manipulated, guys, because there's a lot of these a-holes that own this stuff, and they come in and just push it down, then pop it up and push it down and pop it. People come in and buy it, and they push it down again. People come in and buy it, and they push it down again. People come in and buy it, and what do you think is going to happen? They're going to push it down again, all right? And then they're going to let it run. And then when it runs, everybody's like, get in. FOMO, fear of missing out, right? And HODL, hold on for dear life forever. Duh. Don't do that. Don't do that with crypto, guys. I've been trying to tell a lot of people, and they still buy this stuff. So, I mean, maybe, baby, you'll find out. All right. So, as you guys can see, they hammered this thing down. It was up around 260. They hammered it all the way down to like 230. There's more. Oh yeah, I'm missing the real one. All right. Good God. How can I miss this? Look at this long red line. Wow. Yeah, that's not manipulation. That's not manipulation. So here it is, up here around $3. And then within a short period of time, it's all the way down to $1.37. Unbelievable. I watched it happen. I'm like, they're gonna shove this thing down to a zero. Jesus. And then they let it pop back up. And as you see, people came, oh, buy it, it's cheap. And it popped up, and now they're like shoving it back down. So I don't know. I don't know about crypto, guys. Now today, as you saw, the NASDAQ is up. Now usually crypto goes up when the NASDAQ goes up, so we might see this crypto turn around this weekend. I think there's just no pushing this market down. I thought that it would get a much needed pullback, and there would be a great buyout opportunity. The charts showed it. Like I said yesterday, this thing's going down to $400, and they manipulated it up. They're just not letting this thing go down. They're going to continue to pump air in this thing, and pump it and pump it and pump it. And just like we've seen in 1929 and the 80s, and then again in the .com 2000 and 2008, they're gonna pump it until it pops, and everybody's I'm going to be rich, and then they lose everything for decades, right? So we can win this thing. We can win this thing. We can beat the manipulators, but we have to be coordinated with it, because if we do coordinate, we can win. But if we let them continue to manipulate these markets like they've done, now I don't think there's any saving in this market, because I think this market's evil. All right. There's too much evil in this market. It needs to be destroyed, and then we need to rebuild it. All right. Let them like knock it down. All right. Silver's going to go to the moon. Silver's God's money. Silver and gold, God money. All right. Their money in this stock market is evil. Right. Almost all of them. Right. There's good people in some of these stocks, of course, but they'll survive, and we'll build them back up. We'll come into them. We'll build them back up. Right. With our silver holdings. Right. All right. And I don't know what happens to crypto, if crypto is like the thing that we use in the future. And, I've heard all these stories. I've heard stories that the world is flat, but that doesn't work either, right? Now, the earthquakes that happened in Russia and that little island, if you have the antipode of that, if there is a round world, the antipode of that is where these straits are, down just south of Argentina and before you get to Antarctica. So there's a strait right there that's the antipode of where that massive 8.8 earthquake happened in Russia, in the Russian islands. And just right on the other side of that is where there's big earthquakes happening, right? So, I mean, imagine if we didn't have all the manipulation and the lies and the disinformation that come in. Now, a lot of people have some really good arguments about a flat earth. I'll accept that. There is something to that, obviously, but we're not getting all the information. I think they know that. They know what the real thing is. All right. So I'm going to have Brad Olson on. He's got a brand new book. He talks about the Nazis. All right. He's the one that really clued me up about the Nazis and Argentina. And he's got this book about going to about Argentina and the Nazis down there. All right. I'm reading his book. I'm going to make some nice comments because he's an amazing guy. He's going to be on my show. We're going to talk a little bit. We're going to talk in depth about this, right? Because I've been saying the Nazis are all over the world, and we're going to expose them, right? So he's been doing a good job of it, and we're going to talk about how the Nazis are in Antarctica, right? So here's all the manipulation that's going on in the market. The Nazis are doing it, right? The Nazis, the New World Order, whoever you want to call them, right? So they're the Jesuits. They're all like part of the same, cult of control and manipulation and destroying humanity so that they can have power, right? So that's some of the things that we're going to talk about. Now, the stock market, like I'm showing you guys, the manipulation. Hope you guys understand it. It's there. It's going to continue until this thing is destroyed, or they destroy it. Now, there is some very good information. I've subscribed to this guy. He's got his own Substack and so for Jesse Colombo, the Bubble. I think the last time or the time before that I had Dr. Kirk Elliott on, we talked about him. So I was very intrigued. So I got his report. And so I've been following it. And it's like I said, I'm an intuitive on some level. I know that silver is going to explode. I knew this years ago. It's time that silver is going to go big, right? And I'm looking at the numbers. They're like 666. You clowns, crazy how that works, right? So and it's frozen there. So now that I pointed it out. So now what we're going to see is the information is going to start to come through on a more larger basis. So with this information from Jesse Colombo and with Dr. Kirk Elliott, which has been informing me and you for quite some time, we're going to be able to see behind the scenes. We're going to like pull the curtain back and see the wizard, right? The manipulator. So why I'm betting on a 10x surge in silver. In today's report, I want to talk about an exciting prospect that I firmly believe in and am personally investing in. I expect silver to surge at least tenfold from its current price, which when he wrote that was 53. So around $500 an ounce, right? And this guy crushes it. So this is on X, Jesse Colombo. So you can go do the research there. If you want to go super in depth, then you can subscribe to a Substack, and it's super informative. He got videos, all kind of crazy stuff. So I love it because, you know, I am an intuitive, but also I'm very analytical, right? Which is kind of counter to being intuitive, but I've balanced them. So it works out really good for me. I'm very scientific, but also can use that to, understand the things that I see as an intuitive, right? So he talks about the setup going all the way back to the 1960s and the cup and handle chart that we pointed out for a while now. So you see how the big spike that happened with Hunt Brothers back in 1980, and then it got slammed down, right? It almost hit that $50 point. And then we have 2011, quantitative easing driven spike, after 2008, bubble popped, 2009, and we had the Great Recession, all right? And which was really a depression, but it spiked. And as you guys can see, I remember this. I was like, I gotta be in silver. I don't know why, but I wish I'd bought more. So now I'm not holding back because I'm like, this is going to be the biggest upswing in the price of silver ever, right? Multi-generational opportunity to create wealth. So here we have the 2011 QE driven spike. So they came in quantitative easing, dropping rates and so forth, kind of like what they're doing now. And it spiked, right? And then they knocked it down because they can't have it go over 50. Because if it goes over 50, they lose. So look at that breakout. So we're still above 50 after days and days of these knuckleheads trying to knock this down. All right. So I believe this breakout is about to spark a major shift in investor sentiment towards silver. So like I was telling you guys, all around the world, people are lined up 100 plus deep to get silver and gold, except in the United States, because you guys aren't informed yet, right? So FOMO is coming, but a lot of people are like, I don't know. It might pull back like those other times. No, right? This is the time where we break it. Yeah, it could possibly, who knows? Maybe it could possibly break out or, get crushed. But that's a buying opportunity. If it gets crushed, I'm going in bigger, right? I go in bigger because it's on the cheap then. Because right now it should be going to the moon, but they keep knocking it down. So the battle after battle, the war is on, but we will win the war. The battles we've won enough battles now that I think it's like going to really spike. So he talks about how, which has long been viewed, so the sentiment towards silver, which has long been viewed as a lagging and underperforming asset. So for the last couple of years where Dr. Kirk and I, especially when it, got punched down to $17 an ounce, we were jumping up and down, please buy silver. So that you guys that did, obviously, we're looking at, almost a 3x from that price range. So many of the new investors that are about to enter the silver market will come from the younger generations, that aren't burdened by the past disappointments of 1980 and 2011. So you guys that should be, because you're reaching that retirement age, like me, I'm retired, but I still work. All right. I work. I love what I do now. So now I've always loved what I've done, but I choose my own hours now. So it is basically right at the level where people are going to get destroyed again, but this time on a more massive level because they pumped this thing up. Like I said, It should have gone down in 2022. I said it was going to go down. Uh, I made massive amounts of money as it was going down, and then it turned around, and I was like, "What the heck is going on?" So they pumped it up, and they're not going to let it stop till it reaches a point where just like it can't go anymore. It's be like that one guy on that what was that Monty Python, where the guy was in a restaurant. He was a big fat guy, and he was like abusive to all the waiters and waitresses, and they'd bring him like food after food, and he'd like puke in a bucket. And towards the end, he had eaten so much, he was like super bloated, more than ever. And so the head waiter was like, just 1 mint. Just 1 mint. I cannot eat another thing. Just this 1 mint. Please, please, no more. Yes, this is you. It's luxurious. It's like chocolate, and it's like, oh my God, it's so amazing. So the guy like took the mint, and then everybody ran, and they knew he was going to blow. So he blew, and he blew up, and that was the last of the abusive big fat man that came in and gorged himself. Kind of like these a-holes that are gorging themselves on our wealth, and they're going to blow. All right, we're going to blow them up. All right, so this is great for the younger generation. I know a lot of younger people are listening, but you guys that are hard-headed think that this stock market is your answer, even after all these stock market corrections, and everything is looking like another big stock market collapse. You're going to keep putting into this market, and you're going to get destroyed. Right now, this is something that has happened, like I said, over and over again, and I can point that out. But if you're hard-headed and don't want to make the moves into silver, then you're going to unfortunately find out hard way, right? So this is what normally happens. 99% of people get destroyed when these markets turn hard, all right? So the younger generation, I think, is going to do really well. So the 10X is coming, the surge. You need to understand the silver squeeze. Like I pointed out, basically what we're doing by buying the silver is putting them in a situation that they're not going to be able to maintain their shorts, right? So they're going to blow, all right? They're going to blow, like the guy in Monty Python, and that's going to be tragic for those that are around someone that blows, because they're going to be angry, very angry, but they're going to lose everything. And during some of these downturns that are massive, like 1929, people jumped out of buildings, right? So I don't want anybody jumping out of buildings, but that happens because people don't listen, and people didn't listen for COVID either, right? So that didn't work out for a lot of people, and it's not. And the people that died are like 4 on the list for problems. So if you didn't die from COVID, some of the people that got massively, have incredible problems that are worse than death, that are still alive, then that's what more and more people are starting to experience. So there's ways to overcome that as well. I do shows about that, and but still, there's a lot of problems out there. All right, so yes, Dr. Kirk Elliott, guys. So I have that in my. So a lot of you guys are wondering. So the silver 525. So yeah, it's a good buy. If it's going to go up 10x, what do you think? Right? I did 5x on XRP, and I thought that was amazing. I did 10x on XRP way back when it's in its early stages, but it was only like 5 cents or 15 cents or whatever, and it went to $1. So I did exceptionally well on it, and I did exceptionally well on a lot of other crypto. I've been a crypto millionaire many times over now. So I don't see crypto, guys. Crypto is speculative. Silver is real money. All right. And silver will be amazing going forward. So yeah, the spot price, silver 52. That's a good price. Yeah. So if it's going to 10x from that at some point, yeah. Tune in tomorrow for Michael with Dr. Kirk Elliott. So usually we do show at 1. I think that's going to be this probably the same time frame, but I have to catch up with him. And Bull Pony says it is going way up before the end of the year. I don't know about that. Maybe. Um, I'm thinking between 75 and 85 end of the year, 150 the beginning, the first part of next year sometime, and then at some point 500 or beyond. Right. So now, what would cause silver to explode upwards by the end of the year? What could do that? Right. Well, we could see, of course, the United States descend into chaos in the big cities, like we've been talking about, and we could also see a massive earthquake and tsunamis. So this is the Canadian earthquake guy, and he does a really good job of, you know, he has been so super accurate, right? Now, again, I'm the intuitive guy. I see the earthquakes coming, but sometimes I can't get the exact date. Sometimes if you know, like when I was in combat zones, I could tell guys like in a week from today, there's going to be an attack here and stay off the street. It'll be at this time. Sometimes the information comes through very clear, and sometimes it's not so clear because I think that consciousness can have an effect on these earthquakes and tsunamis and so forth. But we've heard of how God cleanses the earth, right? So um, the floods and all that kind of stuff. Is it going to happen again? I I think it's a possibility, unfortunately. So and until I see otherwise, I'm going to continue to like try and inform you guys of what's coming. Now, here's the summary of earthquakes today. This was, I think, a couple of days ago that he put this out. Yeah, it was on the 16th, actually, a day ago. Summary of earthquakes today. Um, Now, these were the earthquakes in the zone that he's been predicting is going to rip. And this is in the Philippines. And this rips all the way up in Japan. Because I've been saying I see Japan getting ripped. And then it travels around the world, right? uh, or at least travels to off the coast of America and hits the fault lines and just they domino. They all start to go. So he talks about this. Said new Philippines earthquake is now part of a series ripping through the South and Central Philippines. Also, I am raising the chances of the U.S. government shutdown going until the Culebra event from 45 to 60%. Also, Culebra uh, will extend all the way down to Mindanao. So here's Mindanao down here, huge earthquakes and, extending out. So I've been following him. So I feel that it's going to be sooner rather than later. He was saying into next year possible. That's what he was saying. And I was like, I think it's going to be sooner than that. So in fact, I thought it was going to be the summer because I saw, a lot of heat, and I don't know, maybe that's from fires. I don't know, who knows? But so the one person, Dana7, says, does this Culebra event involve both the Manila and Philippine Trench? Will this also trigger offshore earthquakes and tsunamis in Cebu, which is Philippines? And yes, most of the Philippines islands shorelines will get tsunamis, but varying in severity. So if as you see here, the Philippines is going to get hit by tsunamis, those tsunamis are probably going to go other places too, right? So it goes on, it talks about What's the closest to it happening? Do you think you'll be able to get it, to be able to get to it? Few weeks, days, day before. Have a few people I'll need to try convincing to leave Japan for a bit. Thank you for all your research into this, by the way. So he's saying maybe like a couple weeks before. Will the new Madrid be included, affected by this? Not so clear as San Andreas fault, which will trigger after Clubra. So he goes on to say, down in here, I don't see it. It might have got buried because a lot of people ask questions. So he said that he's moving because he was saying it could happen as much as, and he's been accurately predicting earthquakes, guys, very accurately. So he said it could be in the next year. Now he's moving up to within 4 to 8 weeks, right? So that would be something that would probably spark silver and gold to go to new heights, right? Now, of course, in the meantime, like these riots are coming up. So we have the No Kings marches that are coming, and millions are supposedly going to participate. And you have people like Don Lemon inciting violence against federal officers. Now, my comment is time for this clown to be thrown in prison, right? So he's inciting violence against federal officers. Let's listen to this clown.
Black people, I don't believe they're doing it without due process. Black people, brown people of all stripes, whether you're an Indian American or a Mexican American or whoever you are, go out in your place where you live and get a gun legally, get a license to carry legally.
All right, that's going to be kind of hard when they're illegal, Clown Town.
Because when you have people knocking on your door and taking you away without due process as a citizen, isn't that what the Second Amendment was written for?
All right, so he's conflating people that are here illegally as U.S. citizens that are protected by the U.S. Constitution. It doesn't get stupider than this, guys.
Go back and read what the Second Amendment says, and perhaps it will knock some sense in the heads of these people who are saying, well, it's all great. I don't believe they're doing it without due process. They're asking people for papers. They're not really beating people up. These people are doing things that are illegal. Nobody is illegal. It is a misdemeanor to cross the border.
All right. So you have lots of incitement to violence against the federal officers. We have, the drug cartels are basically putting out $50 bounties on the heads of federal officers. Or did I say 50,000? Or I don't know what I just said, but $50,000 bounty on the heads of, federal officers. So it's going to come to a head, guys. And when the shooting starts, it's going to get bad, right? So now, will we see it for the No Kings demonstrations that are coming this weekend, starting tomorrow? It remains to be seen, right? It remains to be seen. Now, I'm skeptical that it's going to turn violent, but what could happen, or what I'm looking for really, is to see how many people get involved. So if we have a massive involvement and they start to get a little rowdy, right, like they have been already, and they take it a little bit farther to see how much they can push this, that's not going to be a good sign, right? So this could easily, cross over into extreme violence in a lot of places. So let me share the screen and show you guys all the different articles that are out there. Of course, I do this. You can do your own research. I give you some good insights, but you can go deeper down these rabbit holes, and ideally you're doing this yourself as well. So No Kings organizers project a massive turnout this weekend for this weekend's protest. Now, I would like to see this not get massive. That means there's an awakening. But if it really gets massive out there, guys, we're in trouble. All right. Or they're in trouble. Right. So the the thinking people and the people that want to see good for our country aren't going to put up with this shit. Right. No Kings protests set for Saturday across Northern California, locations all over the place, and California will let it happen and let them get violent. It won't matter. Governor Abbott to send National Guard to Austin for No Kings rally. Austin, super leftist area. A lot of people came from California, Austin. Austin's been a real problem. Which is interesting because I went to Austin when I first released my book, The Intuitive Warrior. And I was seeing in Austin even then that this place is not going to do well in the future because I saw the same thing in Portland that I was seeing in Austin. And Portland, of course, is a total shithole now. And that's what's happened to Austin now. Austin used to have some of the highest prices for real estate in Texas. And people have been fleeing from Austin in numbers that are driving down the price of real estate on a massive scale. Massive. One of the worst performing real estate markets right now in the country. So the leftists, the communists, destroy cities, guys. We should be seeing this at this point. But we could come into an area and we have all this. We have created wealth for ourselves over time. It's taken me a long time to create wealth. I've had it stolen from me several times, but I've gotten it back. And we could come into one of these communities and we would be chased by the mommy basement dwellers that would come running after us and demanding our wealth, right? Because they deserve it, because that's the way communists are. They're going to steal the wealth of other people because they can't create it. And so they, in their minds, we're their enemy because we've created this wealth out of a system that's available to everyone to create wealth, but they haven't been able to. So they get, brainwashed by the educational system, parents that are communists for their whole lives, whatever. And then they are going to cause a lot of problems. They have been already, and they're going to cause a lot more. So were the No Kings protests the largest single-day demonstration in American history? June 20th. So this is No Kings 2. More than 2,400 anti-Trump protests planned for Saturday. So remember how President Trump said, it's not about me. I'm just in between you and them. All right. So that's why they want Trump out, because he's basically changing the environment so that they're not going to be able to destroy us and take away our wealth and so forth. So now President Trump has come out and says, I am no king. Of course, they don't care. They're brainwashed idiots. So they're gonna riot probably this weekend somewhere. All right. Again, on October 18th, which is tomorrow, millions, this is from No King site, millions of us are rising again to show the world America has no kings and the power belongs to the people. So sad. So sad we've come to this. Right? No thrones, no crowns, no kings. All right. So we know this is basically Nazi stuff. All right. So that's where I'm going to have Brad Olson on to talk more in depth so that we can have the knowledge of these Nazis. And that way we can not be defeated and controlled by them. All right. So here is, now I talked about how these Nazis went down to Argentina. And this very smart woman sent me this. This is Maxima Zuriagueta, and she is Argentinian, and she is from the Nazi side, right? Because the Nazis came in and really took over Argentina, and of course we're getting that turned around now by Milei and President Trump. basically taking down the communist Hitler Nazi thing that basically took over South America to a great extent. So they came into Argentina and they spread from there. Of course, we know they have the base down in Argentina. So they're also in the Netherlands. Now, I've talked about, I hope this won't get taken down, but I talked about how in the Netherlands, they have a massive human child trafficking problem, right? And it's linked to the royals, right? Very strongly. And of course, the people of the Netherlands know that, and they have fought and pushed back on that, but it continues, of course, because these real kings, no kings in America, all right? But yet we have them in many places of the world still, but that didn't seem to be a problem. So they were married. So we have basically the spreading of the Nazis intermarrying around the world. All right, so here's Brad's book. This is it's going to be a good read when it comes out. So we're going to talk about it. I think I have him on Saturday, Sunday, one of those days. He's going to come on and talk about the secrets of Antarctica, the untold history of the ice continent by Brad Olson. So let's see, what's that look like? What's the cover look like? Oh, it's on another. I'm not going to go back into because I'll show you my email, and I'm not going to do that. I'll have crazies emailing me. Author's Karma Statement, Introduction to Esoteric Antarctica, Ice Continent, Lost Lands, and the Patagonia Giants. He's done so many. I've been to a lot of events where Brad has presented, and he has an amazing insights on the giant stuff. Wow. And maps of the ancient sea kings, Nazis, and Antarctica. Admiral Richard Byrd, we know that he took a fleet down there, Operation High Jump, and the Nazis down in Antarctica flew out in their flying saucers and used directed energy weapons to take down aircraft and saw ships in half, and they hightailed it out of there. And then Richard Byrd talked about that in his, he did a diary and released it, and within a year he was dead. So the Nazis are everywhere, guys. Antarctica, I get stuff all the time. I get intimidated. They try to intimidate me all the time. Even my lovely wife, she had her phone hacked. So we're all fighting this war. It's a mess. The black goo and so on. So I like this quote from Luke 8:17. For nothing is hidden that will not be disclosed, nor is anything secret that will not become known and come to light. And with that light that we have, that knowledge, we will defeat them. All right. So he talks about, goes into all kinds of rabbit holes, and they're absolutely amazing. There's Brad. Basically, on his own, he's been to every continent of the world. He's written all kinds of books, and he requisitioned this ship, or he paid for the ship to take him down to Antarctica, and he spent some time down there. So here it is right here. Admiral Byrd was the commanding officer in Operation High Jump. He was part of one of the most mysterious military expeditions in modern history, an operation that officially went to Antarctica to train with 2 fleets and tons of soldiers and aircraft and everything to train, and they hightailed it out of there. So Operation Hightail out of there, high jump the heck out of there. That's what they ended up doing. With Admiral, so the Nazis didn't lose the war, guys. Nazis didn't lose the war. I know it's very troubling to some of you that believe that, but they didn't, unfortunately. So right here, it talks about It ended in chaos with Admiral Byrd himself dropping cryptic warnings because, like me, you try and talk around stuff, right? Because you know that you get too close to the truth and them, they will make your life very miserable and maybe even end it. They've tried that many times with me. Warnings about an enemy with advanced technology. Read his diary. He does have it. I've read his diary. It's cryptic, but if you read between the lines, you can see that he's trying to tell everyone that they basically came out and spanked him. Right. The admiral was dead a year after he wrote it. The Nazi connection, 100% real. The German Antarctic base in Neuschwabenland, the disappearance of top Nazi scientist, and Project Paperclip, where the U.S. absorbed Nazi intelligence, scientists, and occultists into its own government. Tie it all together. So we have talked on, I think it was like a couple of years ago, about the Bush family being totally Nazi, right? They would go to Germany, and all the top Nazi scientists and kids that would be generals and so forth, little boy or Daddy Bush hung out with them, right? So, and then of course, we had both the Bushes as presidents. Up, right? The enemy within. All right, so he goes into depth about that. We'll talk about his book, like I said, in probably a couple of days. It'll be intense, and you'll want that book. I want the book. I have the book. All right. Yeah, I have the book already. Tease. All right, Trump says Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson should be in jail. Wow. For not protecting ICE officers. So he also is inciting violence against ICE officers. And Governor Pritzker also. Those are my words, not his. So President Donald Trump said Illinois Democrat leaders deserve to be in jail for letting crime run rampant in the city. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Trump wrote on Truth Social. Governor Pritzker also, right? That's on Truth Social. So, of course, they're restricting him from coming in and saving their city from the cartels, like I talked about yesterday in my show. All right. Now, Venezuela, guys, it's going down, right? We all know that. When, of course, they're not going to let us know. They're going to keep pressure on Venezuela. I talked about this with Nino on the show that I did with him that he gave to me, and I uploaded it on my YouTube channel. So you can go see that. Lots of good insights. Nino, he's like my little brother, right? Little brother from another mother, right? And a lot of people beat him up because he wants to know. He asks questions like nonstop, like a little kid sometimes. Like, all right, let me finish. But I love him. He's got a big heart. So Maria Corina Machado, all right? She is the woman that got the Nobel Peace Prize. So she says this recognition of the struggle of all Venezuelans is a boost to conclude our task to conquer freedom. How do you conquer something that doesn't want to be conquered? That's where the United States comes in. We are on the threshold of victory, and today, more than ever, we count on President Trump, the people of the United States, the peoples of Latin America, and the democratic nations of the world as our principal allies to achieve freedom and democracy. We are defeating the Nazis once and for all, guys. And Venezuela is where the Nazis are. And there's a law that was passed long ago, the Monroe Doctrine, that no foreign power could come into the Americas and assert itself. But Russia and China have done that. And they've done that in Venezuela. And they have destroyed Venezuela. So it's going to be standoff. We're in a standoff. So Maduro said that, hey, I'll kick China and Russia out, and I'll let you have all the resources you want. Just don't kill me, right? So, or something along those lines. So Trump's like, no, we're not going to accept that. You got to go. You got to go. You're not going to stay there, all right? We got a $50 million bounty on your head, and hopefully one of your generals, gets that prize. So that's where we're at right now. So we're kind of in that standoff, intimidating them, letting them know. And I've been involved in this so many times. I see the process. I've seen the process. This is perfect. Very, very strategic and intimidation, stage of what will probably be, short occupation and takedown, right? So special forces, you got some Delta boys out there, you got some Navy SEAL Team 6 guys out there, and special forces from every military wing, and they're ready to rock and roll. And they probably have their targets already. So that they've been flying around. We've had B-52s now are flying around Venezuela. Show of force, right? Now, sometimes that show of force, like we're trying to get to, I believe, is where the military, who Maduro is going to say, go stop them. And they're going to be like, what? You can't stop America. They're the most powerful military in the world. And look at all the stuff they got. We're not going to, like, with machetes, stop them. Like Noriega said, he had the machete out. And he's like, you're going to find out. You're going to find out. Like Saddam Hussein, the mother of all wars. Yeah, they found out. So Maduro is going to find out. And what we want is for his general, one, maybe more. You guys can split it, or one of you can take charge, whatever. And we want them to basically take charge so this is not bloody. All right. We want them to seize power, put him under arrest, and then we'll move in rapid like and turn that country into the prosperous, magnificent country it deserves to be. Right. So it's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen with a lot of violence, but it is right there on the verge of it. Right. So this is what's happening down there. It will happen. And then it will happen in Mexico, where we're going to go in, start taking out the cartels. And these are all threats. These are all Nazi organizations. And these Nazi organizations also have ties to the Middle East, right? And a lot of those you have a lot of Middle Easterners that are not just in America that want to destroy America and take over. The brown shirts of the Democrat Party, right? So, are the deep state, really. So the Democrat Party is just deep state to its core at this point. So we're going to see that that turnaround, and it's going to be pretty vicious in America, I believe. But it will be. I have the feeling that it's going to be well managed. I don't know why, but it's going to be isolated, well managed, and eventually get turned around very quickly. I'm very pleased with the way the Trump administration is running things. And of course, they've been working on this for a long time. It's not just Trump. Of course, we got the Q team behind the scenes, and we got the quantum financial system coming. So they have a lot of stuff in store, med beds, all that stuff. They did that CGI, AI, Trump talking about med beds and stuff. It's like, it's just and then he first had on this Truth Social, then he took it down. It's like, put it out there, teasing the deep state. This is what's coming. Your medical system that destroys people is about to be removed, right? And we have the things that are going to help people. And so that's going to be amazing. Is a black swan event same as false flag? Pretty much the same, Lydia. Yeah. So will they have, black flag is basically uh, a black swan event would be like 9/11, right? And it's massive, and it's also a false flag because they came in and said it was from people that were in a foreign land, like Afghanistan, right? But it was a lot more than that. They were from a lot of Middle Eastern countries. Some are from Saudi Arabia and so forth. But they weren't active on those planes. We know that those planes were diverted and that there were CGI that basically went into those buildings. So that was a massive black swan event and false flag. So false flag is like you're basically presenting something that is not real. It's a false flag. It's like these people from another country came in and did this operation on us, right? So in some way, it's like what happened with Charlie Kirk and what happened with President Trump. Those would have been massive black flags, right? And our black swan events, if they were real. And you're like, well, I believe Charlie Kirk was killed. That's fine. But it didn't blow up, did it? I mean, it didn't turn into violence at all. It actually went the other way. So you have to look at these things like that. Did they get away with creating mass chaos and violence like they did with 9/11? No. It went the opposite way. So that should be a big indicator to you that this was a controlled operation that flipped the script. All right. So Boston's mayor is playing politics while the city burns. All right. Let me share that with you real quick. So there's going to be multiple cities, and they're going to start to creep these other cities in to try and overwhelm the Trump administration. I don't know if this is going to play. Might need to be reloaded.
Oh, this guy's slamming a giant pole against us. The mayor touts Boston as the safest large city in the country, but do residents really feel that way? This is our city. We are the safest major city in the nation because we are.
Ooh. Is that the Chinese coming in and starting this stuff? I think so. Right. So she's the mayor, Mayor Wu. Safe city is burning. Right? So she does not want any help, like all these, deep staters guys. And we've talked about the Chinese connection coming in. We had the Chinese connection in 2020, of course. We have the Chinese connection with the Wuhan flu. We have some problems with the Chinese, right? There's so many. They're buying up our farmland. Of course, President Trump came in and said, "Nope, you're going to have to give all that up." Right? So we're not going to allow this stuff to happen. Now, there was I forget where it was. Was it in Tennessee where they had that one arms factory that blew up? They built 155 howitzer shells, and it blew up. We've seen, and I've talked about how people have told me back channel, military guys, former military guys, and military guys, all right, current, that the Chinese would come and they would take pictures and all kind of crazy stuff and video of the base where they were, and they would run them off. And then they come back within a week or two, and they do it again. They run them off. And he said, A lot of these people are saying it's daily now. So we're going to see, I believe, a lot of these very mysterious takedowns of our military system. Places where arms are manufactured, we're starting to see a lot of them are getting sabotaged, I believe. All right. So we definitely have some serious problems. Now she's got that. What is that? The Catholics do that where they do the cross on the forehead, Ash Wednesday, or whatever. So she's got that going on. Who knows? Maybe she's legit here, and there's no connections. I would be very skeptical. All right. All right. So that's Boston. Boston is going to be another one, guys. And I predicted we would lose Boston, which would be sad because it has a lot of history there. But so does Washington, D.C., which I think also is going to be lost, though. So President Trump put fencing around the White House and the Treasury. Now, Juan said he did that as basically as in your face. These are the things we're going to protect. But I think they may be the things that really are protected, and that the satanic city, Masonic satanic city of Washington, D.C. may be destroyed. Right. So we'll see. So one thing that I put out a show today, it was the LifeWave show, where I have managers come in and people that want to build a LifeWave business. And I talked about how I talked to a Navy SEAL today that was injured, and he went into the medical system, the VA, Veterans Administration system, and he told me horror stories after horror story. And I was like, and he was telling me about how they would distribute pain medication to these guys and get them hooked on this stuff. And he said there was like one person that was distributing them. And he said when they would come in to get their medication, there would be like chairs lining the walls, and it'd be like 100 people that were trying to get medication from this one person. Just told me horror story after horror story of this medical system, guys. So now the reason why I'm talking to him is that he's going to start to use the LifeWave patches. Now, the LifeWave patches were created for the SEAL teams to begin with. And then when Obama came in, he's like, it's not FDA approved. Of course, we know the FDA is like completely compromised. And because it wasn't FDA approved, the SEALs were already using LifeWave patches, energy patches, which convert fat to energy very quickly. And you burn 500 calories just by putting those patches on. Right? So now I did a 4-day fast where I've used the energy patches. I've used X39, X49, and there's one, the SB6, which is basically appetite suppressant. So during this 4-day fast, I was also using the LifeWave water machine. I was using the patches, the LifeWave water machine, and this was the easiest fast I have ever done. And I've done dozens of fasts. All right, 4-day fast, very easy. Now my new friend, this unfortunate Navy SEAL that was injured and had spinal fusions and horror story from the medical establishment, and got him hooked on very addictive drugs, and then started taking him away because he was using too much, and then he went on other drugs, tried to get off those drugs. It's just one horror story after another. So he's in this medical system loop. And so we're going to get him on LifeWave patches. He said for 10 years, he basically wasn't able to participate with his children, to go on like trips with them. His wife, fortunately, was, she's got a great career and, help support everything. But I think of all those military vets that are homeless out there on the streets. And it's because of this system that pushes them out there, guys. All right. So we talked about a lot of different things. Maybe at some point I'll have him on the show because he's very animated about, the system and how corrupt it is. And I said, we tried to get LifeWave, David Schmidt, the inventor of LifeWave, that worked with the Navy SEALs and created the Navy SEALs LifeWave patches. Right now we have them. Usually those are black projects, which you don't get, but because Obama said it's not FDA approved, so it's a medical device, get it out. So it's not a medical device; it's alternative therapy, which works very effectively. I've used it for over 3 years. If it wasn't effective, obviously I wouldn't be still using it and promoting it. Right now, and trying to help as many people as possible. So it's not just about pain, overcoming pain. I've got thousands of stories where I've had people come in and share their miracles, with overcoming pain and so forth. But it's also, for me, what I've used it for is I recover faster, perform longer, and push beyond my limits, like you see here. And this is like an X39. It's the mother of all the patches. For less than $99 a month, you can have a wearable med bed, and it's fuels your performance. So for me, last year, actually just about 6 months ago, no, more like 8 months ago, probably about almost a year now. So I started going heavy again in my weightlifting. So I did a bodybuilding contest before COVID, 2019, and I won it, my master's class, and the work up to that, I leg pressed 1,000 pounds. I leg pressed 1,000 pounds at 59. All right, I was like incredible. If I pushed 500 pounds, that was incredible. So not being in the SEAL teams, I could focus. All right, so I was working out every day. I never had that opportunity to work out consistently like that. I just like work out when I got the chance. Traveling. Doing the things that SEALs do. So, and then with the CIA, the same thing. So I was able to, really focus on it and, made amazing progress and had a great physique and so forth and won a contest. So, and I hadn't done a contest. I think it was like, God, it was like 12. Was it 12? I think it might have been longer. 12 or 15 years or something like that was the last time I did a contest. And that was when I just got out of the SEAL teams. I just left the SEAL teams when I was operations chief. I was able to work out a lot. And my last command, SEAL Team 4, I led the PTs. And I was like 41, 42 at the time and crushing everybody. So on my plaque, when they gave me a plaque when I left, I retired, they put on there, "Thanks for the body by Jake." So PT. So, I love that. But not, like I said, not only can it overcome pain, but it also can help you push beyond your limits that you already have. Right. No matter your age. So here I am, 64. I'm 65 now. So it was just a little while ago that I did 1,100 pounds. So even more. So what, about 6 years later, 5 years later, I'm doing even more weight. And what's the difference? LifeWave, right? So, it's a great product, and it has amazing benefits.
You are a powerhouse of growth, of new experiences. You just don't know it yet. Let's change that, shall we? With innovation at our core, we've reimagined what's possible, harnessing the body's natural energy flow with light. Backed by clinical research, X39 stimulates the skin with low levels of light to elevate a key peptide linked to renovating and rejuvenating the body.
All right, so peptides are the key to success. They activate your stem cells. Your stem cells over time basically start to break down, and this basically brings them back. Right, your body is being reactivated to be its best. So there's nothing transdermal, nothing goes in you. It's basically a patch that sits on the surface of your skin and creates a frequency which activates your dormant stem cells or other aspects of your body, right? Energy, like I said, the energy enhancer basically that was designed for SEAL teams gives you energy that's very smooth, very consistent. There's nothing I've tried, and I've tried a lot of stuff over my lifetime that gives you energy so smoothly as the energy enhancer, right? So faster muscle recovery after training, increased stamina, endurance, reduced inflammation and joint pain, sharper mental clarity and focus under pressure, energy that lasts without caffeine or stimulants, collagen activation for stronger joints, tendons, and skin, a body that feels and responds like it's in its prime, or even better in my case than its prime, guys. So definitely, the Olympic team with Michael Phelps, they used the energy patches and during that time frame, and they all performed. Of course, Michael Phelps was like not in his prime anymore, but won amazing still gold medals after using the energy enhancer. And a lot of other athletes during the Olympic games used the energy patch as well. So they thought these guys must be on some kind of illicit drugs. So they tested them and they weren't, because the patch basically is activating your cellular light structure and you become more efficient, right? And it's amazing. So in the description box, you can activate your own, wellness. I recommend becoming a brand partner. It's the best deal. So I helped out my friend, my newfound friend that has been destroyed by the medical system, and so he's going to get a bunch of patches, and he's a brand partner now. So as a brand partner, you get the best deal initially, and then you continue to get the best deal, the lowest prices for the technology. All right, med bed you wear. All right, guys, lots of love. Stay in the love vibration, and I'll see you guys next time.